FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
So we realized that we'd made a technique that not only measured Yo-Yo Ma moving with a bow, but it also measured anybody moving their body, and it turned out to be very accurate. And along with the software that was interpreting his performance, I started thinking, you can make very sophisticated musical activities not just for someone like Yo-Yo Ma, but for anybody, because we can all make gestures to show something about how we're feeling and controlling music. If we have the right software, you might be able to move the music around. So the next project I made was called the Brain Opera, which was a big participatory opera. It opened at Lincoln Center in New York, toured around the world, and is now permanently in Vienna. If you ever get over there, there's a place called the House of Music that was built around it. And the Brain Opera had a whole series of instruments, all designed for the general public to come in off the street with no knowledge of what was going on, no musical training, and experiment. So a driving game where you drove a musical note down a series of roads. Depending on how you drove, the music would change. A gesture wall, which measured the electricity coming out of your body. So when you gestured, kind of like a crazy conductor, a big visual on the wall would change, but also large textures of sound would change. A table, a melody easel, where you could draw melodies and improvise, change both the melody, the ornaments, and the color just by moving your finger, and a whole series of singing instruments. So the public was invited into a big arcade with about 100 of these instruments, spent about 45 minutes exploring, then went into a theater like this to see a performance where about half of the performance had been composed, prepared, and rehearsed ahead of time, and half of the performance came from elements that the audience had just produced out in a lobby area right before the performance. So it was a collaboration through these kind of instruments between the audience and our team. And the big surprise for this project was that some of the work that was developed here, both the way of playing these instruments and the way of shaping music, even if you're not a professional, as Kitty said, did lead to things which you probably have heard about. So students of mine who were working with me at that time, a lot of the software that was needed to take a piece of music, change it by a joystick or by a video game play. If you're getting better at a game, the music changes but keeps the core element. A guitar, which actually the guitar for Rock Band is not a very sophisticated Hyperinstrument. As you know, it's just a bunch of buttons and a little plectrum over here. But it showed that this idea that music in some form, if it's presented to the general public, is extremely attractive and can be very successful. Like most stories, it has another side. I don't know if you saw this just in the last week, but more and more professional musicians, most recently Jimmy Page, has come out, not too surprisingly, saying that, Guitar Hero and Rock Band came out of my group, but like these guys, it's not very interesting. I mean, it's very popular. It's a lot of fun to play, but it's not very musical. That's what these guys are saying. They're saying that, in fact, they're saying we're not going to license our music to Guitar Hero because it's false for people to think that they're actually playing like they're inside our solo. They're experiencing our solo through this kind of video game. It's not musical, it's not expressive, it's not personal. And I think that's probably true. I think it shows that a musical activity for the general public is possible. There's something incredibly powerful and even addictive about this game, but it's not enough.